Hello, thanks for tuning in. It's Stuart, the Unrepentant Atheist here. I'm responding to a video that I've seen today on Unheard channel entitled Christian Revival, Fantasy or Reality? And taking part in this discussion, which I think was hosted in the UK, Alex O'Connor, Justin Brierley, who we've seen before on my channel, and I think he's quite a sort of well-known evangelical apologist for Christianity. There were two others. There was a dark-haired lady. Apologies, I didn't catch her name, and it doesn't seem to be in the description. Could it be Elizabeth Oldfield? I'm not sure. And then there was another gentleman. All Christians. Alex O'Connor is the only atheist among them. And of course, there was an audience which I think is predominantly Christian. So this question being asked, I think that Alex has actually covered this before, in discussion, in fact, with Brierley some time ago. And I may well have done a video on it, but they've obviously decided to bring this back in this recorded podcast, whatever you want to call it. I was actually going to make a show whereby, I do what I normally do with a line. So I make recording, then I comment on it, etc. But I got to be frank with you, it's 1 hour long, 1 hour 16, and that would take me a significant amount of time. And it's a hot day today. I'm feeling tired. So if it's okay with you guys, I've made notes. I'm just going to simply comment on what was said and what I think of the arguments, etc., and how Alex handled being surrounded by three Christians. So yeah. Justin Brierley, I believe he's written a book, The Surprising Rebirth of Belief in God. Now, they conceded straight away that according to the UK census, the last UK census, which I think was 2021, it made dismal reading for the Church of England and indeed for those who want to see Britain a more religious country, that for the first time, I think over 50% are identifying with no religion at all, the nons, and only 1% are actually attending church. This is obviously 1% of the population, a very, very low figure indeed. I'm not sure what the corresponding figure is for America. I would imagine it's significantly higher than that. Yeah, so the thing is, obviously, the statistics are telling another story. The actual raw data, okay, 2020-21 census, I think there's a census every 10 years, so now we've got to wait until 2031 before we can see. But the shift has certainly been on the downtrend for religion, despite the fact that I believe that some religions are actually expanding. Islam, for example, I believe Islam is expanding in the UK, but overall, because so many who was probably fairly passive, maybe cultural Christians are no longer identifying as Christians. They're now saying they've got no religious affiliation at all. So it doesn't look good. It looks good for our side, for those who are saying that we should live in a secular society, and that these beliefs, these religions haven't met their burden of proof. There's no good reason for morality and for any other reason, perhaps besides community and feeling of belonging, to actually take part in any religious ceremonies, subscribe to any of the beliefs. That's what I've been saying for a long time. Not that I'm saying it's all untrue or any of it's untrue, just that it hasn't met its burden of proof. This is where I've got to criticize some of the Christians, maybe all of them, for straw manning the atheist position or the materialist position, because it's being said about New Atheism, which sort of started with Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, that there's this faith in the materialist position that the existence of God or anything beyond the material world is being ruled out. So we're talking about philosophical naturalism, I suppose. The assertion that there's nothing beyond the material world, so we need to deal with that, rather than leaving it open and saying, well, we'll have to deal with the material world as it manifests before us, because that seems to be all there is, but let's keep things open. Maybe there is something else. So I think Justin Brierley was asserting that, well, the atheist position amounts to faith in materialism. I think that's a bit dishonest. I think that's like a straw man, because views differ from atheist to atheist. There are some hard materialist atheists, some who do assert that the material world is all that exists. And then there are others like me who are not hard materialists, who say, well, okay, I'm not ruling out the supernatural, not ruling out the existence of God. I'm not ruling out that a religion may be true, but it just simply hasn't met its burden of proof. I'm a skeptic. I'm waiting for evidence to convince me that it is true. So this struck me as being a bit dishonest of Justin, because you could criticize the hard materialist view for being too extreme, for not meeting its burden of proof. You could even criticizing it for even being faith-like. But that does not legitimize and validate your own belief in a supernatural God. And it seems to me that a lot of, not just it seems to me, it's demonstrable that a lot of online apologists like Justin Brierley and like some others we've seen recently of saying, well, New Atheism's got it so wrong. Richard Dawkins is wrong about this, is wrong about that, the way he rules out God. And therefore I'm going to go ahead and believe, because the hard atheist position is so extreme. I'm going to believe in Jesus. That's irrational. That is not an assessment of the evidence. That's just taking a position and finding it too extreme, and then you going to the other extreme as a response. There's nothing rational about that at all. Okay, so coming back to Justin Brierley, he seemed to be saying, not just him and others were saying, the reason, it's not that there are statistics to prove to Justin Brierley that there is a revival, there's a Christian revival, or there's a revival in the fortunes of religion. No, that's not what he's saying. He's saying that his impression is that, or he gets the feeling that it's something which is based on intuition, or it's anecdotal. He mentioned, I think, or somebody mentioned 3 secular philosophers, or atheist philosophers, who have in the last 10 years or so gone over to Christianity or gone over to theism, as if this is some big evidence that there is a Christian revival. No, it's not, because we don't see the full picture. We don't know what the statistics are. As far as I know, in the world of philosophy, some are going one way, some are going the other way. Another myth is this idea that there are science is becoming much more accepting of non-materialist views, that there could be some supernatural cause to the universe, to the natural laws, etc. That somehow science is much more open to this than it's ever been before. I think that this is a myth propagated by apologists. I haven't seen any evidence of that. What I have seen are a small number of Christian scientists who are apologists, who happen to be, say, specialists in one field, commenting on another field. So we've got for example, somebody who's a chemical engineer, can't remember who he is, coming on and saying and asserting that abiogenesis is impossible, and therefore there must be some creator who started everything off. So there's a small number of apologists who are very vocal scientists indeed, like is it Professor Behe, for example, on the creationist side, who, because they make a lot of noise, give the false impression that science is somehow shifting towards these creationist views, or views that there is some kind of agent beyond the natural world which has caused it. Excuse me. Okay, let me just consult my notes, because I said quite a lot there, just off the top of my head, my impressions. Of course, I should say about Alex, and I've been saying this for a little while now, a lot of Christians follow him, a lot believe, and a lot of atheists actually believe, that if any well-known atheist counter-apologist is going to switch to the other side, it's going to be Alex OConnor. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that Alex deliberately flirts with his Christian fanboys because I don't know, maybe it's good for business. It makes him look like, he's open. He's claiming that he's open. He would be willing to become a Christian if he could be convinced that it's true. He's not a resistant atheist, and I'm not resistant either. If I had evidence that Christianity was true, I mean, I know that Matt Dillahunty has said, well, if Christianity was proven true, yes, I would accept it, but I wouldn't worship that God. No, I mean, that's not my position. If Christianity were proven true, I would probably have some more questions like, okay, Jesus is my savior, etc. Um, is the God of the Old Testament the same as the Christian God, etc.? And I would try to, no, I'd have to take it seriously. If Christianity was proven true and my eternal life was at stake, of course I would have to take it seriously. So, I mean, even if it turned out to be a bad God, I would still have to take Christianity seriously. Okay, yes, and I'm not sure if it was Brierley or somebody else. It might have been the dark-haired lady who was saying that atheists, that there are these people who have been materialists, or they've grown up. Yeah, this was it. Yes, this is the thing I found amazing, that in Britain, look, if you're my age or even older than that, growing up in Britain, as I did in the 60s and 70s, I mean, Christianity was everywhere. You couldn't avoid it. At school, we said prayers, we sung our hymns, we went to church a few times a year, etc. And I mean, I grew up with all the indoctrination, and from what I've seen in schools, we still are very much a Christian culture. We've got Christmas, we've got Easter, we've got the King as the head of state, defender of the faith, and the idea that somehow there's resistance to non-materialism, there's resistance to the belief in God, is absolute risible nonsense. You can go around and say, oh, I'm a God, I believe in the existence of God, I'm a man of God, or whatever, and you'll still get a lot of respect, even from people who don't believe in it. You won't be ridiculed at all. So this idea that people are moving over or have been moving over to atheism, rejection of theist claims, because somehow it's not cool or it's not considered to be somehow intellectually respectable to believe in the existence of God, I think it's nonsense. I've not seen any evidence of that. And I've lived in the UK virtually my whole life. So I don't really think that's the case at all. I think that obviously we've become a more secular nation because to an extent the society that we've got with the availability of opportunities, economic success, quality health service, etc., etc., etc. It's more and more seen that religion is just not really necessary. I listened to Alan Watts recently. Somebody played me a recording of Alan Watts, and I listened. It was on Facebook. I said, "Oh, is that Alan Watts?" Because I mean, I could somehow tell by the voice, and he was saying something to the effect that we know what doesn't make us happy. We know deep down that relationships don't make us happy. We know deep down that our families don't make us happy. We know deep down that our hobbies and our interests don't make us happy. We know deep down that money doesn't make us happy. And you know what I was thinking when I was listening to him? He's got it the wrong way round, because the things that demonstrably make us happy are our relationships, success in our careers, and economic wealth. The things that we buy, consumerism, these things are popular for a reason, because they make us happy. He's got it wrong. He's got it absolutely wrong. These are things that make us happy, because we know this, because when you withdraw them, we lose our happiness. I know what he's saying, that if you withdraw them, you can become happy through meditating. And no, we know what makes us happy. And these materialistic things, they do make us happy. Okay, so so this idea that belief in God is somehow not hip, not cool. Miracles don't happen. The claim that people now are growing up and they're saying, well, miracles don't happen. No, that's not what I'm saying. This is the straw man again. It's straw man for 1 hour, 16 minutes. I'm not saying, and a lot of people like me, skeptics, are not saying that miracles have never happened. We're not saying that. We're saying, show us the evidence that these things have happened. That doesn't amount to faith in materialism. That's just healthy skepticism. And what is skepticism? It starts with testing your own beliefs and trying to prove them wrong. And then it goes to testing the claims of others and trying to either prove them wrong or to test the validity of them. Okay, this video is already running on way too long. Let me just see if I've made any more notes, which would be worth... Oh yeah, so they asked Alex O'Connor, is there any chance you will become a Christian, in 10 years? Could you be this was quite an uncomfortable moment for Alex. Bear in mind, he's got 3 evangelical Christians with big Christian grins and smiles sitting around him. He must feel a little bit outnumbered and a little bit intimidated. And they said, Alex, we would put our arms, we will welcome you with open arms if you will only come over to our side. It would be the biggest coup. And I'll be frank with you, I would love to see Alex O'Connor convert to Christianity, and I'm an atheist. I would absolutely love it because I would get so much entertainment, sheer entertainment out of Alex O'Connor converting to Christianity. I would want to know his reasons, of course, but I would get so much airtime as well because I would be making videos about it. Why is he converted to Christianity? Okay, yeah, so they said, and by the way, Matt Dillahunty, I would also be laughing my head off if Matt Dillahunty went over to Christianity. I really would. It would be so much entertainment. It would be amazing. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think that Alex is going to convert either. So they said to him, are we going to see you here in 10 years a Christian? And he sort of went red-faced a bit, and he said, well, God willing. Yeah, I mean, my answer would be, yeah, if the evidence is there, then yes, of course. So, okay. I mean, to be fair, I like the way that Alex handled things. I thought that his replies and the way that he dealt with points was good. And there was the thing about wishful thinking. I think somebody made the point that for a lot of people, Christianity solves the problem of death. Yeah. Christianity solves the problem of death, and is it just a case of wishful thinking? So Justin Brierley quoted C.S. Lewis, and he said something to the effect that C.S. Lewis had said that a lot of the time wishful thoughts are actually based on a truth. It can be wishful thinking, and it can also be true. And I thought, well, this just begs the question, because say if you've got 10 different thoughts based on wishful thinking, like for example, one of my wishful thoughts is that I'll be wealthy when I retire. Yeah. Or I don't know, I've got some hidden talent that I'm not yet aware of. So imagine that you've got 10 thoughts of this type and that some are true and some are untrue. How do you know which ones are true? And how do you know which ones are untrue? It's the same as claims. How do you know which ones are true? How do you know which ones are untrue? You need a method. And the method is you examine the available evidence and then you decide whether it's true or whether the jury is still out, whether there's still not insufficient evidence to accept the claim. So it really just begged the question, yeah, sure, wishful thinking could also be based on truth. And it may well be that Christianity is true. So this wishful thinking that we're going to have a eternity of bliss when we die in heaven, that's wishful thinking. And it may well be that Christianity is true. Yeah, absolutely. But it begs the question, how do you know that Christianity is true? So not really of much use. Not really much use Justin Brierley saying that, is there? Somebody else made the point, an agnostic asked a question. He said that he hadn't got this sort of God hole inside him, this Jesus hole that he needed to fill up with any kind of religion. He was quite happy as he is. And somebody made the point that, well, yeah, what about all the happy agnostics or, happy atheists out there who don't feel this need, that it's being asserted that there is this need because of the so-called failure of materialism. And by the way, that's absolute nonsense. There's no failure. There's no demonstrable failure of materialism. People are better off in the Western developed world. This is why religion's failing. It's not failing in India, where they've got a 1.5 billion population, and poverty is rife, and other countries, religion's doing very well there, thank you very much. But in the developed Western world, apart from America and probably Australia, religion's doing badly. In Europe, religion's doing really badly, and it's getting worse. So there's no sort of failure of materialism in that sense. Religion's been rejected because people's lives are better, they're better educated, they've got more information, hence religion's not necessary. Yeah, some people find it necessary. I mean, just like some people find, certain things necessary, not everybody finds religion necessary. So let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So Justin Brierley, yeah, he's saying that, yeah, we long for some kind of transcendent reality, some kind of big spiritual experience, something to sustain us and keep us happy. We long for this. We long for the knowledge that we will live forever, etc. And that because somehow so many people have longed for this, therefore there must be some truth in it. It's the same as the argument that because so many people believe in religion, therefore there must be some truth to at least some of the supernatural claims, or at least one of the supernatural claims, mainly that there's a God. There must be some truth to it. No, that's not how it works. It doesn't matter if the entire world believes in religion. The entire world could believe that the earth is flat, but that doesn't make it so, does it? That's not how it works. Oh, yeah. And the black-haired lady, this is a case of people just don't know their own Bible. She said that when God gets angry, it's because, the poor, the needy are not being helped out by somebody else. That kind of thing. I haven't particularly noticed that in the Bible. I've noticed God getting angry in the Old Testament for many, many different reasons. I've noticed God getting angry because Elisha was insulted by some boys, and he sent a she-bear, a couple of she-bears or something, to go and tear those boys to pieces. God's got angry with, was it the Canaanites, who were engaging in all sorts of bestiality, and he had the Jews chase them out and slaughter those that remained. God got angry then. And no, you don't know your own Bible. You're ignorant. Go and read your Bible. God doesn't get angry only in fact, God doesn't really tend to get that angry when the poor are being left to fend for themselves, or slaves are being enslaved, conquered peoples are being enslaved. He doesn't get angry when he should be getting angry. He's getting angry for all the wrong reasons. Doesn't know her own Bible, just like lots of other Christians. The ignorance is unbelievable. What else have we got here? Well, I think that's just about it, really. Yeah, why religion will come back. Yeah, the reason that religion will come back, yeah, it's because people need religion, effectively. Saying that, yeah, materialism's failed, people need religion, it will fill a hole that's in their lives. It's all the same thing. Religion isn't coming back, not in the developed Western world. I haven't seen any evidence that it is. The statistics don't show that it is. And a few of Justin Brierley's anecdotes and half a dozen or so atheist philosophers in the last few years who've turned to theism. I don't know what their evidence is, but that doesn't prove that religion's coming back either. Oh yeah, the Gospel of Thomas. Yeah, this was interesting because I know that there were many different versions of Christianity, and the one the world's saddled with now, that Jesus was resurrected and Jesus is the Savior, and that the resurrection was a real actual thing, is the one that won out. It was the one that prevailed. But the Gospel of Thomas, the resurrection or Jesus, it was all very metaphorical, and it was more a kind of Gnostic reading of Christianity. Alex O'Connor said about that, yeah, I'm all for the Gospel of Thomas. I'm all for a Gnostic reading of Christianity, because then you dispense with the miracles, you dispense with the resurrection. The miracles just become metaphorical, and the resurrection is like a kind of rebirth of the person, but not a real rebirth through religion, or through these beliefs. So nothing supernatural. Okay, well, I mean, that's about it. There's more to it, of course. I've gone on for long enough. And yeah, did you see it? What do you think? Thanks for watching. No, but yeah, no, it's a myth. It's a fantasy. Yeah, Christian revival, fantasy or reality. It's a fantasy. There's no revival. None that I'm aware of. And I live in Britain. I haven't seen any evidence of a Christian revival. People are leading increasingly more and more secular lives. And the only reason a lot of young people have been into church is because the school drags them there at Easter and at Christmas. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.